Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People's Show. Check the pulse of Husker Nation. Brought to you by Nebraska Spine Hospital. No, your eyes do not deceive you. I am wearing a shirt that is about, 3-4 years old. All right, this is my son's football team. He's now a 6th grader. I've been wearing this shirt since he was in 4th grade. Maybe I should get a new one. I don't know. Power, legacy, purpose. Just thought I'd represent for my son's team. Today they are the Trojans. Go Trojans. Also, talking about my kids, as most of you know, my daughter Jordan, she's 4 years old. Okay, she's been wearing glasses for over 2 years since she was a year and a half, and she's been having to wear a patch over her right eye, right eye. I can't even remember. I think it's over her left eye to strengthen the right eye. Yeah, that's right. For over a year and a half, and she's done so well with it, but it's gotten to a point where her eyes they weren't focusing together, the muscles weren't working, she wasn't responding. Plus, she was at her wit's frickin' end with the patch, and I don't blame her. I was about at my wit's frickin' end with it too. So anyways, she had to have surgery last Thursday. The reason I bring this up is several of you, I brought her on the show the morning she was going into the surgery, and several of you have asked how she's doing. So, long story short, that day, she actually went back into surgery, had her little berry, she was smiley, happy. She came out the rest of the day, she was pretty groggy, pretty out of it, pretty much what you would expect. By the next day, she was running around, and actually she's not supposed to do that right after the eye surgery, so we had to get her to sit down and be calm as much as we can with a 4-year-old. But she's doing pretty good. Her eyes are still really red, but they're getting less and less red every day. So I just wanted to give an update on her because several of you fine folks at home had asked how she is doing. So she's recovering well. Basically, she sees the doctor here in 2 days for her post-surgery update, and we'll see what the doc has to say. Hopefully it's all good news, and she doesn't have to wear that freaking stupid patch anymore. She'll have to wear glasses her whole life unless she gets LASIK or contacts, but at least hopefully she can get rid of the patch. But the update is, long story short is, thank you for asking. She's been doing well. Now, today's show, is about the Nebraska offensive line, which I've talked about before. But Scott Frost announcing in the press conference today that, unfortunately, freshman offensive lineman Teddy Prochazka, who has started the last 2 games at left tackle, hurt his knee, and he's going to be out till spring ball. So what this does is this brings Bryce Benhart, who had been benched, back into the lineup. So our starting offensive line going into the Minnesota game will be Turner Corcoran and Bryce Benhart at the offensive tackle spots, Noreen Newilly and Matt Sichterman. Noreen Newilly, make sure I say that right. Matt Sichterman at guard and Cam Jurgens holding steady at that center spot. Now, when you talk about Newilly, Scott Frost mentioned in his press conference that he had exceeded Scott Frost's expectations in games. He said, and I quote, "He's more consistent in games than he is in practice." Okay, and you look at a guy like Bryce Benhart. He's from Minnesota. He's a guy who started last year as a freshman. He's highly recruited. He's a mountain of a man. Okay, and before I forget, I want to wish Teddy Prochazka a speedy recovery. Prayers, wishes. Hopefully he's ready way before spring ball gets here and that knee's feeling rock solid. But back to Bryce Benhart, highly recruited, talented, mountain of a man from Minnesota. Now, he struggled last year in the Minnesota game. Okay, so he's going to want retribution for that game. It's his home state team we're playing this week in the Gophers. Okay, he won a state wrestling championship up there his senior year of high school. He wants redemption, I guarantee, versus Minnesota. Also, I'm curious to see how he responds. When guys get benched like Bryce did, they can go one of 2 ways. They can go completely down the toilet and they're just never the same. Or they can come back with a chip on their shoulder, uber motivated with something to prove. I hope that's what we see out of Bryce going forward. Now, Greg Austin, the offensive line coach and my former teammate, when I spoke with him last spring, talked about how he had 9 guys in that offensive line room he legit felt could compete in the Big Ten Conference. Year 1, he told me they only had 3. That ain't good. Now they've got 9. That depth is going to be tested with this Prochazka injury. And I'm going to be keeping my eye specifically on that offensive line going forward, because the first part of the season, to say they didn't play well is absurdly kind. They were bad. Okay, since they made the change a couple weeks ago and brought in Newilly, and at that point had brought in Prochazka, who's now injured, they'd been playing better. They'd been opening holes better. The false start, knock on wood, penalties had gone way down. Now, the first half, Michigan, there wasn't a lot of holes. In the second half, they were able to open some holes. How will this offensive line do? Can they keep that continuity going they've had the past couple of games? I want to keep my eye on that specifically. Go big, Red Nose, remember. And let me know your thoughts. Thanks again to our sponsor, Nebraska Spine Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, when it's your spine, you do not want to mess around, and experience matters. That's why you can trust the experts at Nebraska Spine Hospital, the region's only spine-specific hospital. They are the best at what they do.